is raining. In fact, it's just stopped. So maybe I could have done it from outside, but I wasn't to know it was going to stop just before I started to actually speak. Now, as always, if you've got any questions related to van life or something like that, please do ask them. There will be a live broadcast at this time every Saturday, provided of course that I can actually do it from somewhere where there isn't any internet. Then there is nothing I can actually do about that one. So today, actually, what I thought I'd do, and what I should really sort of just start off with, and always, is to have some news. And the news as far as this is concerned, now obviously it's not that much news in the motorhome or camping sector to actually do a broadcast every week, I think. But there's a couple of things here happening. One of which, incidentally, I thought about saying last week, but I sort of got a bbit distracted about buying homes in Italy for €1. And that is that there's a 4x4 event which is held in a place in Bad Kissingen in northern Bavaria at either the end of May or the beginning of June. So it's like the first weekend of June. And so when I went there 3 years ago, fantastic event, wonderful weather, and it was it was one of the best fairs I've ever been to, in fact. So it will be at the first. This year it was meant to be at the beginning of June. That was postponed. In fact, what happened was this: I noticed the week before last that it was going to go ahead. I wrote and said, "Look, I'll be there. Super, absolutely wonderful." And then, as it happened, sorry, I get distracted with people's messages, which I will respond to. And I forgot what I was saying now. The event, which is absolutely wonderful, and so I saw that it was going to go ahead, and so I wrote and said I'll be there, and I got a message the following day saying it's been postponed. It has been postponed to the end of July, which is rather unfortunate for me because I've got a wedding to attend. Not mine, I might point out, but well, let's see what happens, because it could be that there's no travel around that I'll be able to actually go to. So anyway, so that's the first piece of news. So the Abenteuer und Allrad 4x4 event is going to take place, but at the end of July. Now, one or two things about it. It's only 4 days, and it's a much smaller event. It's very much an outdoor event. And what happens is that I think it's the town that actually allows you to park on there. They've got a bit of land is free within the town itself, and so people can park there. And it's not really suitable for actually parking, but this is a 4x4 event, so people have got all their kit, so it allows them to park at funny angles. So I was at an angle, and I was a bit concerned am I actually going to be able to drive out of here, which I believe did happen in 2012 when apparently it poured down with rain. And so then what happens is that the event is held in a military zone, or former military zone, which is at the top of a hill. So they've got buses that come down, pick you up and take you up to the top of the hill. Now, if you're actually an exhibitor at this event, then you can stay at the top of the hill. And the strange thing is, though, is you've got this exhibition area, and then you sort of walk where the exhibitors are, living, and they've got the washing out and all sorts. So it looks like a normal campsite. And if you want to see really far out vehicles as well, I mean, people have got these things like former missile carriers and this type of thing have turned into motorhomes. So that is the place to be for all that. It's really quite outstanding. As the companies which do 4x4 are much smaller. I mean, there are, of course, the mainline, the big companies do have 4x4 versions. I recently published something from Bürstner. It's a new 4x4 campervan, 540 centimeters in length, and or Hymer do. They brought one out a few months ago as well, and we've got all of these things which companies producing these things, but it's not the companies themselves, but rather it'll be their distributors. So it's not a corporate event like CMT or like Dusseldorf is, and which, for example, the Birmingham event is partially corporate, partially local distributors. But this is absolutely it's sort of it's smaller companies which do these really much more specialized vehicles. But it really is, it's a great thing. Last time, the only corporate exhibitors were VW and Land Rover, and when I was there 3 years ago. Now, last year obviously was cancelled for obvious reasons, and 2 years ago I couldn't go because I had some business to take care of at the same time, which really wound me up as it turned out. Anyway, so that's the first thing. Now, the second thing is also related to trade fairs. In fact, anything I do is related to trade fairs is news, and that is the Hymer company has said that it will henceforth only exhibit every other year at major events. Now, last year, I recall as I was walking through the forest at the campsite, Camp for You, near Wrocław, Poland, and I was talking about what the historical significance of COVID would be, and it's that the people learn to do things in different ways. I mean, this is the evidence of every single pandemic that's ever happened in the past, that people have always they learn to cope with it, and then they change things accordingly. Now, as far as Hymer, what they've learned is that they don't they don't need to be at these events. And I've just had somebody from Tira ask me to mention his name, so there you go. Hello to Tira, and which I'll come back to at the end. And so it is clear that nobody really needs to exhibit motorhomes in these markets. I mean, as much as I really enjoy going to these things, maybe Abenteuer and Allrad, where you've got really specialist stuff, but I mean, even these big events, which perhaps I shouldn't be saying this because I might not even let me in, but next time, but do companies really need to spend hundreds of thousands, if not millions, in the case of something like Hymer, doing these events when there is huge demand, and they can sell everything that they can produce? So I think that is a major, that's a major reason. Now, one of the things that Hymer said was this: is that in other sectors, the people normally only exhibit once every other year, and that's true. For example, or even once every 3 years, or once every 4 years. But the problem is that those businesses are B2C, not B2B. When it's B2C, then you really need to keep there to keep producing some of the to keep showing people what you've got. So that's not quite the same as with I used to work within the packaging industry, for example, and you can't expect new packaging to sort of come out every often. So the trade fairs would be held once every other year, once every 3 years, or in some cases once every 4 years. So they're the two bits of news that I have. Now, then I had somebody that I'm trying to try and answer the questions. Now, the problem is I've only got a small screen on my telephone here, as using the computer. People complained at the image. So what I'm going to say, right, first of all, I would like to say hello to the person from Tira in Israel. And Tira is I used to live quite close to there, so and I have videos from there. And today is this evening is the first day of Passover, so I send my regards for that one. There was somebody asked there about the a Malibu van, but I didn't catch the whole thing, and I don't know how to call up the I've got it right. So Jack says he needs a Malibu or a Chausson camper shipped to Florida. Any ideas, approximate price suggestions? I haven't the slightest idea with respect to this endeavor. That is a good question. Now, as far as shipping anything to the United States is concerned, that I'm not the person to ask, actually, or anybody within the motorhome thing. You need to speak to a shipping company. You need to, these are people who specialize in importations. Now, it can't be all that difficult, but I'm going to tell you somebody who's has been in the news quite recently. There's Trump's former lawyer, his name's Michael Cohen. When he was a student, he made his first million by importing cars from Europe. So I think he was importing Ferraris or something, or Lamborghinis or Porsches or something like that. And once he'd sold one, then he'd buy the next one and the next one. So I mean, it can't be all that difficult if you could get students doing it. Admittedly, that was in the 1980s, and perhaps it's even got more difficult since then. But the United States, the problem is with the paperwork. When you've got the paper getting through, and it's the same actually with India as well as another country I often get asked for. In India, there is horrendous. Not only is the paperwork horrendous, but the import duties are utterly horrendous. And I know from when I was the marketing director of a company, and it was 50-60%, and I mean, I don't know what it is on vehicles, but this is also a problem. Now, to return to the United States, the things to do is to speak to a shipping company, somebody who brings containers across, and and to speak to somebody who's got the specialization, because it's not just with the equipment, the van itself, but you've also got to bear in mind you're going to have to change the voltage as well, the chargers and everything inside. So from 230 shore power to 110. So that would need a little bit of work. I don't think the wiring needs to be changed, but it might do in some places. But certainly the chargers inside won't work. And they're not these universal chargers which you get on shavers and things like this that work off everything. They're not designed for that. And indeed, the paperwork might be a little bit difficult to actually do because of that. But that's who you need to speak to, not to somebody like me, because I really don't know. Another thing I've got to point out as well is that anybody who wants to buy a new van in the current circumstances needs to be able to and it needs to be able to wait, because it's not going to happen. So here Peter writes, from Norway to the US, $4,000 for the shipping. I think it's closer to $2,000 for a container. And but that is not the problem, though, because you've got the main problem. It's the paperwork. Then you've got the taxation, which I think is in around 5%. I'm not exactly. I think it's 5.6 actually in my head, but I might be wrong. So don't. Then obviously you've got to pay on top of that. You've got to pay the local sales tax as well. But whatever that is, it depends on the state, but it's much lower in the US than it is here in Europe. But these are things that actually have to be done. And right, sorry, so I'm just going through the comments here, and sorry, just have a hello to Leicestershire. Hello, do you copy? Yes, I do. I'm professional army. Oh, well done. And right, sorry. Okay. Right, so that is the basic thing. So I wanted to say, now this evening I'll be having another video up, and tonight's on a company from Adria, which is one of their Sun Livings. I've started doing something called shorts. Now, this isn't my idea. This is the idea of YouTube, where you've got things there, not the proper way around, but this way around. Sort of, you turn the phone into portrait mode, and I thought I could give and they're meant to be under 1 minute. Anyway, I'm trying this out as an experiment, so they're giving a 1 minute brief introduction, and in 1 minute they can do about 150 words. If I get the dog to speak quickly, then that gives an idea of a van, which I can then do more of at a later date. So that's what I'm doing at present. So thanks very much for those of you who actually sat through that. And I'm sorry I got distracted. One of my problems is I'm actually talking. I'm not very good at talking normally without getting distracted. But when I've got people writing as well. But the point of view is for you to actually write and send me messages. So that and for me to actually respond to them. It would of course be easier if I used the computer. Thanks very much for being here, and I hope to make a move because okay, it's now spring, it's now warmer, and last week a friend of mine put in his Facebook account, it's the first day of spring, and I responded, yes, I know it's the first day of spring, it's snowing outside. So but now it's been some nice sunny weather, so I'm about ready to make a move. Indeed, I took my van out today for the first time since the 2nd of November. I was out in the street and I went and got myself some gas. All the best here from us all. Cool. I hope you'll be around for the video this evening. Thanks for watching.